Is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
I would have liked you to ask what is happening with Black men today. As a Black man, it still hurts me to walk down the street and have somebody grab their pocketbook. And I can be in a three-piece suit, be in the elevator, and I have to be mindful when I'm in the elevator that I'm not being a threat to somebody, especially somebody who's elderly than might see me as a threat. We're being misrepresented. We're being misunderstood. And then again, we're really not getting the opportunities that I think that we deserve. Yes, things have gotten better for us. Yes, we're doing better education in some aspects, but we're far from where I think we need to be, or better yet, where we should be.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men, because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited to bring this brother to you today. He is a 3-time author. He is a visionary and a founder of a nonprofit. And most importantly to him, he is an ordained minister and elder in his church. Please meet Mr. Tom Waters. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Val. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
I am well. A little chilly, but I'm good.
It's that time of year, right? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, Tom, I'm so glad that you are here today because you are contributing to this repository, which will be busting open or helping to bust open this very myopic narrative about Black manhood, where we see just a tiny view of what Black men are in our society. And I've come to start saying that it is not necessarily is not true, but it's just complete, right?
Correct.
There's some, there's so much more. And so we've created a repository of 6 questions and well over 100 answers by 100 different positive, successful Black men. And I'm so glad that you're contributing because ultimately we want a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models to come to this repository, see the same questions is in all these different ways and find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, for them to be able to come in and have our minds expanded a bit about what Black manhood means to us in society. And so I'm, again, so glad that you're here. And I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
Sure. You know what? When I saw the question, I'm like, wow, that's a really good one. But for me, manhood comes down to one word, actually, and it's responsibility. And I'm going to tell you why. When I grew up, and when most of us grew up, we get to a phase, we wanted to get out of our parents' house, we wanted to do our own thing. But with that comes responsibility. And I think as a man, especially a Black man, the epitome of any man to me is being responsible, who takes responsibility for himself, takes responsibility for his family if he's married, takes responsibility for his community and for his friends as well. There's so many different aspects of responsibility for this Black man. If we're not responsible, then I think we're losing the whole essence of manhood, period. To me, that is the key. That's what manhood means to me. Simply being responsible for your decisions. I hear people say, well, I don't know, but you should know. You should have some kind of idea of where you're going in your life. That's called responsibility. How are we going to get through the challenges that we face in life if we don't make responsible decisions? So once again, it always comes back to me for responsibility. Be responsible.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So, Tom, who and/or what is important to you?
Oh, that was an easy question. God. God is the most important, I hate to say thing, but the most important person to me that we cannot physically touch. But my whole life is, for the past 40 some years, has been centered around Jesus Christ. So he is the most important person in my life. If I had to say an actual person, it would be my pastor. He's very important to me because he has guided me from somebody who wasn't quite sure what was going on with him to somebody who knows exactly who he is. But Jesus Christ is the most important person to me.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Thank you. So, Tom, how do you want us to see you?
I want to be seen as somebody who's impactful. Like, I don't want to leave this earth without having left some kind of impact or some type of legacy, for a better word. Like, when people see me, I want them to see somebody who's positive, somebody who's caring, somebody who's compassionate, and somebody who's willing to share the lessons that I've had to go through in my life to get to where I am now. Somebody who's involved and somebody who wants to bring somebody up along the way.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. So, Tom, what is your epic dream?
Ooh, my epic dream. I thought about this question. I think, once again, my epic dream is just to, when I leave this earth, that while I'm on this earth, that I have an impact. Like, I just want to be impactful. I want to be the person when people say, Tom Waters was a very impactful man. Like, he helped the community. He was very positive. He lived the life of Christ. That's my epic dream, just to be an impactful and a beneficial member to my family and to society. If I can do that, then I've lived the dream.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. You've been answering this question all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly. Mr. Thomas Waters, who are you?
Ooh. When I saw that question, I was like, wow. So I am a simple man, okay? I've learned to enjoy the simplicities that come with life. Like, I'm no longer enthralled by the fancy things. Don't get me wrong. I like nice clothes. I like nice things, but I'm a simple man. I just want to love. I want to be loved. I want to care for my family. I want to be able to, like I said again, be impactful, but I'm just a down-to-earth guy. There's nothing fancy about me. I can be fancy, but as a person, there's nothing fancy about me. I can talk to from the C-suite on down. I don't judge people based upon their circumstances or based upon their education. I just judge people for who they are. That's who I am. Simple guy. No fuss, no less.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So here we are already at question 6, which
Wow.
is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
I would have liked you to ask me, and this is probably going to be my longest answer, is what is happening with Black men today? Okay. And I and I think that we're not asking that question enough, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, said something earlier. The reality is, in my opinion, because I'm all about men, but especially Black men, we're being misrepresented, especially by the access of a few people. Don't get me wrong, there are a few people out there who are not taking care of their children, not being good providers, but that's a small population of actual Black men. And the reputation that we are getting is so discouraging because, as a Black man, it still hurts me to walk down the street and have somebody grab their pocketbook. And I can be in a 3-piece suit, be in the elevator, and I have to be mindful when I'm in the elevator that I'm not being a threat into somebody, especially somebody who's elderly than might see me as a threat. We're being misrepresented. We're being misunderstood. And then again, we're really not getting the opportunities that I think that we deserve. Yes, things have gotten better for us. Yes, we're doing better education in some aspects, but we're far from where I think we need to be, or better yet, where we should be. We're still looked at in a negative light. We're not in the places where we need to be at. We're not in the boardrooms we need to be at. We're not in the political arena where we need to be, and we're not respected. We're feared more than we're respected. But that fear leads to a mistreatment of us because they're so afraid of us. And I just think that we really need to give Black men a break. I'm just saying that. And it's nothing against Black women because Black women are doing very well for themselves. I'm not saying the law. But what about the Black man? Because it's easier for a Black woman in today's society to make it than it is for a Black man. That's just truth. That's just fact. I've talked to a lot of people about it, women included. We are still struggling. We are still fighting to get to where we want to be at. As fathers, we're incarcerated more than anybody else, for silly crimes. Not that any crime is silly, but, for lesser crimes, then we get out. There's no opportunity for real advancement because they hold that against you. We don't get the funding to go to school. Nobody's really talking to us because they don't understand us. See, being a man is different than being a woman, which I'm sure you know. But being a Black man is a whole different experience. And unless you are a Black man, you cannot understand what that's like. And having to watch and look out for younger Black men, which is my big passion, young men, to be able to impart to them and try to get to them early before society gets hold of them, before the negative images get a hold of them. And now the things that are changing so much now, like we have got to save our young Black men. We've got to reach them early because they are our future. So to me, we're not being represented as well. And so that's the question that nobody's talking about because it's a difficult conversation to have. And then we seem like, we're always really offensive. No, we're not really offensive. But when we walk out the door, we don't know if we're going to make it back home or not. That's not true for any other race like it is for us. So some of it recalls, yes, that's true, but that's not always the case because they've taught us to fight against each other. And you know how it's so clearly seen in sports. Have you ever noticed in sports, they're comparing a sport, they'll compare LeBron James to another well-known basketball. Why? What's the comparison? One is better than the other. Why can't they both just be great? But you see, it's that comparison that they do that starts us fighting against each other, trying to outdo each other, as opposed to just working together. And until we recognize the games that are being played against us and just start working together, I think we're just going to be here in this spot that we should have been out a long time ago. So that's the question that I wish people would ask more of, because that's what my passion is. I'm not racist. I'm willing to help anybody. But being a Black man and having had to pull my straps, myself up without a father, having to go through life, having to figure out things on my own, make my fair share of mistakes to get to this point. I don't want to see anybody else do that. So we got to stand together. We have to unite, but we got to speak up as Black men and say, hey, I'm hurting. I need you to help. I need you to understand me. Because, they say, well, we don't talk. But when we talk, is anybody really listening? Because we've been painted as this, I got to be strong for my family. I can't cry. I can't do this. But on the inside, we're hurting. And that hurt leads to drug addiction, leads to alcohol or some other, or committing some type of crime because we don't know how to release it any other way. So that's the question.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. Much of what you said is the reason why I started this podcast in the first place. No, I don't know what it's like to be a Black man, right? As a Black woman. I also don't believe in the competition between any of us, right? Or any human beings, but really that because it's not a zero-sum game, right? That you can thrive and I can cheer you on in your thriving and not be threatened at all by that, but actually elevated by you thriving. When my father and my brothers and my cousins and my friends and the people I love are celebrated and uplifted, then I am celebrated and uplifted as a Black woman, as a Black sister, daughter, all those things. Right. And so I totally agree with you with that. And I am hopeful that this little contribution to eradicating some of those very myopically strewn narratives can be can really help to bust open this narrative. And so I honor you, my king. I pray that your epic dream comes true. I pray that this question, your question that you posed, actually gets answered a lot more, and that more people will stand up across the identities, one to support. So either as someone within the identity or someone like me who is upholding our community and shining a light and saying, we need you. And so we do need you, my brother, and all the brothers. And so I just thank you so much for being with us today and for contributing to this conversation.
I thank you so much for having me. You know, I think it's so important. I'm always amazed, first of all, that anybody wants to talk to me. I just, it's so amazing to me that I have something to contribute. But I think that if we're going to get to the next place, we're going to have to do it together. That's men and women. So we need women, Black women who are out there supporting Black men. And we also need Black men who are supporting Black women. We've got to support each other. It has to be like a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. So this is where my time gets in there, but this is where my passion actually comes in at. It has to be a two-way street because we're both in the struggle. At the end of the day, we're both in the struggle, and if we learn to struggle together like our ancestors did. See, one thing I respect about slavery, although there's very little to respect about it, one thing I respect about Black people who went through slavery, they knew how to work together for the most part. And then you look at the 60s and the 50s, they worked together for solutions. And if we could get back to that, if we could just get back to working together for solutions, I think that we'll be on to something. So I thank you for what you're doing, because it is important.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And stay right there, because I want to thank the audience for joining us. I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if there is a positive Black man in your life and you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. We are looking to bust open this narrative, this very narrow narrative, and we are looking for brothers who are successful and positive. And success does not mean what someone does for a living. I have come to say I don't care what they do for a living, as long as it's positive and it's legal. Those are caveats, but really what's important is the character, the content of someone's character and their ability to positively influence and have an impact on the people around them, starting with the nuclear family to the greater community and everyone in between. Those are the brothers that we want to talk to continue to expand this narrative and to expand what it means to have Black men in our lives, if you will. And so please stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And Tom, thank you so much for this. It was really wonderful. Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you.